Hi, this is Charles, and I am going to do a little bit of a webcast here to explain some of the severe weather threats that we are going to be facing tomorrow here in East Texas. Let's go ahead and start out with what the current conditions are like right now. As we can see, temperatures are mainly in the 60s around the area, although out here in the West Texas we do get into the middle to upper 60s, and down here in the Houston it's already reaching into the 70s. This is as of around 9 a.m. this morning. We are expecting temperatures to climb today well into the 80s. Matter of fact, it's supposed to be very humid and muggy out today in East Texas. Currently we are in an area that is southeast of a low pressure that is developing and going to be heading up into the middle of Kansas and up that direction, which will bring us the risk for severe weather tomorrow. Now today there's really no chance of any thunderstorm development here in East Texas. As a matter of fact, you can enjoy nice sunny skies throughout the day. Now let's go ahead and get into what's going to be happening tomorrow, as that is the main focus of why I'm doing this video. So we're going to go ahead and switch this mode over, and first we're going to talk about the overall risk. So let's go ahead and jump over to the Storm Prediction Center here, who is the people who put out the risk categories for the severe weather tomorrow. Let's go ahead and jump right to Day 2 Outlook, which is the risk for tomorrow. Now, as you can see already, they have placed an enhanced risk running from just south of Kansas City all the way down here into East Texas. Enhanced risks this far out are not necessarily completely uncommon, but they do not happen all of the time. Especially since, as I'm going to show you here in a second, we also do have a heightened area, which is the black hatched area for significant severe weather. Significant severe weather we're talking about large hail, damaging winds, the potential for a few strong tornadoes across the area. And 30% risk of severe weather indicates that there's a 30% risk within 25-mile point. Any point that you pick within the area, 25 miles in any direction, that there would be severe weather inside of that area. And the severe weather that this map is referring to is all modes of severe weather: tornadoes, hail, and damaging winds. So let's go ahead and get into the specifics. What are the computer models showing? What are we expecting to happen tomorrow? So first of all, let's go ahead and jump over here to the computer model and bring up the current forecast. We're going to start with the GFS computer model. Let me turn off the surface analysis first. In other words, we won't be able to see the computer model. Okay, so I would love to be able to show you, well, now it's working. There's a little bit of a glitch going on here where it sometimes is showing the temperature listed as Fahrenheit, but it really is the Celsius temperature. So if you see any weird temperatures like you do right now, it says 15.2 degrees. It is not going to be 15 degrees. Don't worry, we're not going to have ice, we're not going to have snow, none of that. It says Fahrenheit, but it actually is 15 degrees Celsius, which comes to around 55, 60 degrees right now. If we go forward in time, you can see this afternoon right now, this is forecasting for 4 p.m. today. It's showing around 31 degrees Celsius. That does come out to around 85 to 90 degrees Fahrenheit. So it's going to be a very warm day. And as I'm going to also show you, it's going to be pretty humid starting this afternoon and running through tomorrow. Additionally, I want to point out that this afternoon we are talking about it being pretty windy across the area. Looks like computer models are showing anywhere between 20 and 30 knot winds, which again, the computer system is showing the knots, but when I convert that over to miles per hour, we're looking at anywhere between 25 to 35 mile an hour wind gusts this afternoon. So it is going to be pretty breezy, but that is what's transporting all of that warm, moist air up here from the Gulf of Mexico. So the dew points this afternoon are going to run up into the middle 60s to near 70 degrees, which is extremely humid air. So definitely keep that in mind when we're out and about today. But let's jump into tomorrow's forecast. So we're going to jump all the way to 10 a.m. tomorrow morning. By 10 a.m. tomorrow morning, we're already looking at dew points to be around 70 degrees. So you're going to wake up tomorrow morning, very humid atmosphere. It's definitely going to have that overall feel of it being severe weather tomorrow. In addition to that, we can see that a computer model is beginning to develop instability across the area. So this is a map of the instability forecast. Don't take it literally. It's not going to have the exact instability in the exact spaces. So just because you see like this instability right here does not mean that that's exactly where a thunderstorm is going to develop. We just are getting a rough idea about how unstable the atmosphere is. And any number over 1,000 to 1,500 is really minimum needed for severe weather. And when you get up into the higher numbers, 2,000 to 3,000, you start getting into some significant severe weather potentials. So as you can see right along the dry line, we are looking at numbers well over 1,500, 2,000. Right here we got 2,100. So again, right along the front, we are looking at definitely some unstable atmosphere that's going to be developing. Now, in addition to that, I just want to point out that winds from here are going to be coming straight out of the south. So we're going to get winds coming straight out of south. But if you go up in the atmosphere about 3,000 to 5,000 feet above us, winds are actually going to be coming out of the west. So because winds are going to be coming out of the west and winds at the surface are going to be coming out of the south, we do have quite a bit of rotation in the atmosphere. So these are storms that are going to develop, are definitely going to be rotating. We could definitely see some tornadoes across the area, mainly from just south of Lufkin northward as the Storm Prediction Center's outlook was showing. When you get further south of there, you get a little bit further away from the low pressure and you don't have quite as much of the lift needed to be able to develop the supercell thunderstorms. But if we go forward in time, so this is 10 a.m., but by 1 p.m. you can see this significant instability developing across the area. These are numbers that are well over 2,000. We got 2,200 right here. According to this computer model, right now at over Lufkin by 1 p.m. tomorrow, we're still looking at 1,600 in the instability level. So as we progress, you're going to see that line is going to move closer and closer to us and eventually take over. However, we're not waiting for necessarily that line to get here. That line will have a line of severe thunderstorms on it, but we're expecting storms to develop well in advance of that line. And those are the storms we really need to watch, because when you get isolated thunderstorms that are not interfered by a whole bunch of thunderstorms, those are the ones that really rotate and can produce the strong, longer track tornadoes. You can see here, we're expecting to have a significant dry line move through the area. So this is our forecast at 1 p.m. tomorrow, and you're going to see that I'm going to mark on here, dew point is forecasted to be around 70 degrees here in Lufkin. However, if we head off to the west, bring this over here to the west, and jump over here to West Texas, notice some of these dew points. 0 degree dew point, that is some really dry air. So we have a significant dry line that's going to be running from about Wichita Falls, well, actually probably a little bit east of Wichita Falls, Dallas, Waco, right along the I-45 corridor, or I-35 corridor, which that dry line will push through. Matter of fact, if I advance here to the 4 p.m., you can see the dry line continues to advance. The dry line is where we're really going to see development. Historically, dry lines, supercells are capable of some of the strongest severe weather that we see. You get the dry air moving in, and it causes quite a bit of lift in the atmosphere, so you get some pretty significant updrafts. And by 7 p.m. you can see the dry line is going to be right over here, getting ready to move through, and we'll have the dry line move through somewhere between 7 p.m. and midnight. Again, I'm not going to show you, I'm not going to pinpoint exactly what time the dry line moves through, just because of the fact that the computer models still are going to be changing some timing, so I don't want to give you an exact time. But really, we're looking at severe weather anywhere from 2 p.m. on tomorrow throughout East Texas. Some of the storms could be strong. We're looking at potential for 70 to 80 mile an hour winds, large hail, because I didn't even get into the lapse rates, but the lapse rates are pretty high, so we're going to be seeing some significant hail. And in addition to that, there is the potential for some tornadoes, including some strong tornadoes. So please keep an eye to the weather and make sure that you are have a way to get alerts tomorrow throughout the day. Now, I probably will go ahead and do an update again this evening. Look for it between 6 and 7 p.m. Now, if you enjoyed watching this update, I would really appreciate it if you would subscribe to my YouTube channel, which is where this video will be posted. And look forward to more updates from me. I am planning on going chasing tomorrow evening, and hopefully we'll get some good footage for you guys of any storms that do develop.